Hi, nice of you to tune into this EHEDG Regional Development Update that is coming straight from Australia today. With us is Rick Sousa, the chairman of the EHEDG Regional Section Australia, which was established last year in Dubrovnik on the World Congress. Rick, I'm so happy to see you in good health after the bushfires and the outbreak of the coronavirus. How are you holding up down there?
It's great to catch up with you again. And yes, it is difficult times in Australia, but we are working hard, and I think we are doing very well. So it's great to talk with you.
Now, EHEDG Australia was planning to introduce EHEDG at several events across Australia, and because of obvious reasons, these events were cancelled. But how do you approach the industry these days in the new situation?
So we change our presentation slightly to say, are you aware that you have access to this information? And instead of relying on some global entity maybe that wants you to do it their way, you have a chance to craft this to your own knowledge as part of your own expression of food safety to your customers. Mm-hmm. And that means they get to own it from their perspective. We don't want to reach too far too soon. And when we do find somebody who wants to sign up, we just want to take care of them and bring them into the fold and let them learn of the network. Because after all, we have 13 members, but there are unknown amounts of global companies in Australia who are also members. And so bit by bit, we introduce them, and that's how we're treating it.
Well, now, Rick, considering that here in Europe we have EHEDG regional sections for Germany, France, Spain, Italy, and so on, how do you approach a vast area like Australia, a continent, from a regional perspective? There must be quite some differences between the regional food cultures, for example.
Yes, we are a continent, but yes, we are populations in pockets, and each population has its own intimate food culture. And so we want to reflect that and be careful to craft the message for each one of those people. And when you do that, people are really interested and fascinated by the fact they have access to it. So yeah, a little bit different to the corporate approach, but certainly no less enthusiastic, but you're just offering. And with both the corporate and with the small to medium food sector, above all, there's this consistent hunger for knowledge.
Now, Rick, you mentioned earlier that you set up EHEDG Regional Section Australia and became the first chairman of that region because you want to offer the Australian food industry an easy access to the knowledge on hygienic engineering and design that EHEDG provides. Is that still your main goal?
I believe Australian businesses should have access to this knowledge. And for too long, there's probably been organisations that covertly used EHEDG information as if it's their own for their own commercial gains. And this information should be freely available to everybody. You sign your membership up and you've got it, and you have 30 years worth of contributions to the greater good. And when they hear that, they hear genuine interest and they hear we're all volunteers. They instantly want to be part of it and are happy to contribute. And so it's still early days, but using the technology and using just quite a simple message to say, here we are, this is what we're doing, it gets a really good response every time.
Just curious, but when you introduce EHEDG in Australia and companies become interested, what part of the offerings of EHEDG are they most interested in? What's their first question?
The first one they always ask about is certification. Or can we get certification? And I have to go, whoa, it's not quite yet. But that's the first one every time. They see value in being certified. So that will be interesting to see where we go next with that. The training is very, very valuable. They're all looking for training. And so to that extent, I've started to craft what a training program could look like. And then we'll bring that back to EHEDG and suggest, look, here's a way to achieve this, maybe at initially a lower level as an EHEDG accredited startup training, without we go to the high level expense of certified training in the short term. And one that I was not expecting, the third one, is networking. We are, as you suggest, a continent, And so often you have to be part of a very formal entity that has rules and regulations about what you can do. And along we come and say, we're volunteers, we want to give you a chance to meet people, share knowledge across industries. So you might be a brewer, you might be a dairy processing practitioner, you might be in local, you might be an export company, but we all want to share that knowledge. And people are really, really interested in the networking aspect as well. So the feedback we're getting is EHEDG absolutely has a place in Australia and right across the gamut of food processing.
Now, Rick, it's all voluntary work that you put into EHEDG. So first question, what's in it for you? Second question, could you give people that are considering to contribute to EHEDG regional development some tips on what to expect if they do so?
I'll answer the first question you asked, what's in it for me? I'm actually just committed to the idea of sharing this knowledge. The food and beverage industry has given me a lot over the last 30 years, and it seems a really nice way to give back. And so there's nothing more than that for me. I don't get a personal gain. There's no transactional benefit for me. It really is just a nice thing to be able to do. So if that makes me a rare person in terms of reaching out, then so be it. The strategy in doing it, though, is being very prepared. You have to be professional in preparation. And quite simply, you need to think about what you want to say and why you want to say it. Quite simply, this is a new knowledge base with a new potential for networking and sharing of information, which hasn't been around before. So you ring up and you talk about that. And the first thing people go, well, hang on, this is new. Why would I want to sign up? 100% of the time they ask me that. And you have to be quite organised with your thinking. And quite frankly, one of the key reasons for signing up is that we have quality systems and we have a responsibility to food safety regulations. And that includes knowledge of people. That includes explaining your strategies and your risk mitigation profiles. And EHEDG sits perfectly in there. So it's very easy then to talk about Codex Alimentarius and HACCP programs and quality critical control points and how important the design step is and the process of design is in making sure you engineer all those things out of your process so you just don't have a risk. And quite frankly, then it's very easy to say, and the entity is there to share this knowledge with you.
Yes.
That's it. And then it's about listening. You have to be prepared to listen and not talk too much, because that's when you get to gather information and you hear them. That's the strategy.
Well, sounds like a strategy for success to me, and the first results prove that. So thank you very much, Rick de Sousa, for your commitment to EHEDG. And dear viewers, if you consider to contribute to the regional development of EHEDG, to disseminate the knowledge that EHEDG has on hygienic engineering design in your regional industry, please get in touch with the EHEDG Secretariat. The ladies there will gladly refer you to the respective chairpersons. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.